Hello everybody and welcome back to the next episode of The Life and Suffering of Sir Brante here with The Way of the Sword. Your studies at the college come easily to you, only now do you realise the importance of all the lessons you had to endure as a child at father's expense. Month after month you study the judge's trade down to the smallest details, growing more confident in your new calling with every lecture. But there is more to education than the judge's trade in imperial law. You also learn manners and courtly etiquette and poetry and composition, even fencing. On some days you go with Thomas to a deserted patch of land to practice with the sword. Then finally the day of the judge's exam comes. You send your test results to father and he replies with an appointment to a judge's office at the prefecture of Magra. Now you have a new life and a new profession back home. You will return to your hometown as a judge. It is early morning at the great temple of the twins, and your heart skips a beat as you step inside the temple. Feels like that day from your childhood again. The priest is standing at the altar and the temple is divided into two halves. But you're no longer a frightened little child anymore, you're a grown man who is about to become a noble. The floor on the common side is there to cause pain. You feel the jagged edges even through the soles of your boots. This pain marks your final few seconds as a commoner. The priest stands before you. You kneel again, but now there is warm, smooth marble under your knees. You hear the words spoken above your head. From this day forth your lot is strength and will. From this day forth you will rule and fight and pursue the arts. Now rise, noble. You place your lips on the smooth steel of the sword, and when you rise again you realise that the trembling you have felt ever since your first sacrament is now completely gone. You rise a new man, your every motion now uncannily accurate, your thoughts surprisingly fresh, your muscles ready to face the fight. This day feels worthy of a poem, and now you can compose one if you wish. You touch your back. The mark of the lash from your previous sacrament is gone, completely erased forever. You hurry from the sacrament back to your room at the college. Your father's gift awaits you there. A sword, your very own sword. Now to celebrate, all college students are invited to the college tournament, then a party. The sword feels wonderful in your hand, a promise of future victories. The tournament begins. The stands are loud with anticipation. Never in your entire life have you seen so many beautiful noble ladies in one place, but there is only one who attracts everyone's attention. The raven-haired, black-eyed Octavia Melanides, the daughter to the Archduke of Magra, has graced the tournament with a visit. She is wearing a dress of emerald green, her austere hairdo immaculate. She is surrounded by her ladies-in-waiting, all beauties in their own right. When a noble enters the tournament, he must announce the name of the lady whose honour he is fighting for. Many shout the names of their loved ones in the stalls. You know that many would fight for Octavia Melanides, but the onus of responsibility is too great. You take a few jabs with your sword, warming up for the fight. Soon it is your turn. All eyes are on you now. The young lady Octavia hides her face behind the hand fan, yet her eyes watch you with curiosity. So unfortunately our willpower is a bit too low to just address her publicly. I don't want to choose a lady of the court, and my father will manage. I think we'll fight for the honour of Octavia. I wish we could have done it publicly, but we'll fight in her name. You approach the stalls and shout clearly and loudly. You will fight for the honour of the young Duchess Octavia Melanides. Slowly she rises from her seat. The stalls grow silent. If you suffer defeat after such insolent words, you may face the ire of one of the ancient Arcadian dynasties. Sir Montgomery Brante. How do I know this name? Ah yes, you've already dared to draw my attention once. In memory of our amusing encounter, I will grant you the honour of fighting in my name. Do not disgrace it. The stalls explode with applause, celebrating your courage. The first fight begins. The rules are the same for any noble duel. Whoever draws first blood wins. The first opponent does not put up much of a fight. A few minutes later he misses a jab to the thigh. Your shirt is soaked with sweat. The hilt of your sword feels slippery in your wet fingers. From behind her emerald hand fan, Octavia watches you closely from her seat. You prevail in 3 fights in a row and prepare to face a new opponent. You know him well. He was mentioned at the prefecture of a turn after you. He is an unusually quick and nimble fighter. He catches you with a feint, then follows it up with a light jab to the side. Fair enough. 3 victories, not bad. You salute Octavia Melanides with your sword, and she gracefully accepts your gesture. You've proven yourself well, Sir Brante. Who knew you would become a noble, and we meet again here in the capital of the Empire. I must say, I am amazed. The eyes of the young Archduchess, that's hard to say, weirdly, follows you even as you leave the arena. You remember this day for the rest of your life, the day when you became a noble. She's intrigued. It's progress. We will woo her yet, I'm sure. Our diplomacy is also going up, which is useful. We are a judge. We need as much diplomacy as possible, I would imagine. You have earned the judge's mantle and the noble title. And year 1137, Diamant stands trial. Just before you leave the capital, you overhear something unusual on the street. Junius Diamant, Patriarch of Astinia, and one of the leaders of the new faith will stand trial before a church tribunal. The Order of Inquisition has accused Patriarch Junius of patronizing blasphemous witches and disseminating heresy. The Holy Tribunal claims that Junius Diamant was scheming to free all witches and sorcerers from the collars that fetter their accursed powers. And what's worse, the Patriarch was also accused of forming the Lotless, a dangerous secret society based in the imperial capital. Members of the society have been assaulting inquisitors and priests of the church, as well as freeing witches from the cleansing fire and helping them escape the holy law. Now the Patriarch must face the Holy Tribunal of the Inquisition in Eterna. By all accounts, this is a devastating blow to the new faith and the end of days to Junius Diamant himself. The Inquisition will make the most of this opportunity to rid the land of this unwelcome Patriarch who dared to shake the foundation of the old faith. But then comes the sudden news: Patriarch Junius' reply to the Holy Tribunal. It is no less stunning than the accusation. These words are nothing but lies. I will say this to anyone who bears to bring this accusation against me in person, but I want those hypocrites to bear the full weight of their responsibility for this slander against me, my flock, the Diamant dynasty, and the Holy Order. I agree to stand trial before the Holy Tribunal, but I'll face them on my own land and on my own terms. Patriarch Junius has already received strong support from Patriarch Luke and many priests across Alchnia. Parishes of the new faith across the Empire are now speaking out in support of Junius Diamant. The Church of the Twin Gods is about to be rent in twain. The Inquisition has no choice but to revoke the trial in order to avert the coming schism. The new official stance is that Patriarch Junius has been wrongfully accused, and the Holy Tribunal will now apply more cautious judgment during any future trials against the followers of the new faith. Following the teachings of Patriarch Photis is no longer seen as heresy by the Inquisition. The trial of Junius Diamant has been averted, but the divide within the Church is only deepening. The new faith has directly challenged the old faith. The result is uncertain, depending on who you ask. Some say Junius Diamant all but pled guilty, others believe the Patriarch and the alleged rebellion against the Church, as well as the Inquisition, is nothing but a ruse. There are also people who think the entire situation sounds like one of the Secret Chancellery's dirty deeds. One way or another, the Patriarch of Astinia and co-leader of the new faith remains at his post. But for how long, and how will the old faith and the new faith clash next? Okay, schism, that's not good. And a farewell to the capital. The Reglata and Taurina rivers meet outside the city walls. You have barely left the capital since you came here all those years ago. A breeze is blowing in your face, and the bright noon sun hangs above the shining pillar. Your stay in Eterna has come to an end. You arrived here a boy full of hopes and aspirations, driven by your family's expectations and a desire to live your life as you saw fit. And now you have to leave, and this thought fills you with gentle sadness. Eterna did not become your home, and yet here you have found your path. Here in the capital you became a nobleman and a judge. Here you are one of the rulers, the warriors, the pleasure seekers, the creators, who will spill their blood for the empire and family and honour, those who keep honour, the age-old tradition. This is your lot now. You are to work in the prefecture of your home province as a judge. Your path to this goal was a long one, and your friend Thomas was by your side all the while. You fondly recall your walks through the streets of Eterna, your secret fencing lessons, your heartfelt discussions. You have no doubt your future back in Anazotti will be full of glory. And then you recall the black, enigmatic eyes of Octavia Menonidas, an Arcadian from one of the great dynasties, a woman whose beauty and majesty make you tremble. You heard she'd be returning to the court of her father, the Archduke of Magra. Will you ever see her again? Almost certainly. You will meet her father once more. He tends to hide his feelings, but not this time. After all, you have fulfilled all his hopes, succeeded in your studies, and continued your family's noble legacy. Many things must have changed back home by now. You recall your older brother Stefan. Now that you have been ennobled, you're practically equals at last. This means you should follow an old tradition and bring Stefan a gift. And so you head for the market district of Eterna. Soon you are busy trying out swords at a weaponsmith's shop. There's a lot to consider for this gift. Stefan is taller and his shoulders are broader, which means his sword must be heavier and longer. There can be no embellishments. Stefan would scoff if you bought him an extravagant weapon. At last you find a suitable sword. Blackened steel, a subtle ornament of leaves on the blade, and a grip shaped like women's vines. It resembles the seared soil of Magra beneath the silver tree. You choose the sheath with the same diligence. There. A light wooden frame bound in thin yet sturdy leather will make the blade easy to draw, and the buckle is sturdy enough. You leave the shop satisfied. You leave the capital the morning after Eterna. Eterna, the city where you spent 4 years, slowly disappears on the horizon. Will you ever see the capital again? You do not know. The sword, a gift for Stefan, is in your hands. So relations with Stefan go up. After 4 years in the capital, you return home to your home city of Anazotti. What is our family going to think of us? We've coming of age, reached the threshold of adulthood. The years of your youth have come to an end. The time has come to leave the capital behind and return to your family and new business in hometown of Anazotti. The years away from home were full of tumult and hardship. Your adult shoulders now bear the burden of your first life-changing decisions. Did you have the freedom to choose this lot yourself, or was it your destiny all along, ever since your childhood years? All you can do now is follow the path that lies before you. Okay, so that's the end of our youth chapter. Bond of friendship with Thomas, path of the nobleman. Diplomacy is looking okay. It could be a little bit higher given that we're a judge, but hopefully that will continue to grow. Theology I don't care about too much. Manipulations, we're not bad thing to have some skill in. Valor's useful. Eloquence is okay. Scheming's okay. Not too bad, all things considered. We're now 20 years old and we enter the peacetime.
A full adult now, I returned from the capital a changed man. Yet, my hometown was not the same as I had left it. Fate had difficult times in store for all of us.
Doesn't surprise me in some ways that things have changed. So what can we expect from this rather long chapter, the longest chapter of the game? As the carriage wheels clack a steady rhythm over the cobblestones, you watch the lands of Magra, rendered dry and desolate by ancient magic, sail by the window. You're back in your home province, but you are no longer the boy who left it by this road 4 years ago. You return a nobleman and a judge. You are continuing the family trade. You have returned to serve at the province's prefecture. Your home, Anazotti, is but a few hours away along the dusty road. The carriage is stuffy and hot from the sun, even with the thick blinders shut tight. It is a familiar heat, but you'll now need to get used to it again. The heat weighs heavy on you, but it also reminds you of your childhood. You will see your family again soon. To pass the time before you return home, you read your father's most recent letter. Again and again, you carefully reread your father's uneasy words, steeling yourself for your first real job and the service that awaits. Dear Montgomery, I anxiously await your return, my son. You are the third judge in our bloodline, the pride of our family. Yet these are hard times for a judge. By the Emperor's decree, Archduke Tarquinius Milonidas is no longer the overseer of Magra. The new overseer is the Emperor's own brother, Gaius Tempest, and now our province has been split by enmity and strife between the Archduke and the overseer. The nobles are split into two factions, and so too have the commoners. Some side with the Archduke, loyal to their liege, and determined to follow the traditions of old. Yet many judges and officials are eager to side with Gaius Tempest as the new overseer. Compared to his brother Cornelius, he is less radical and more cautious, but he too seeks to transform the empire and bring the estates to peace. Yet other Archnians are outraged that Archduke Milonidas has been deposed. One among them is Doris Otten, High Commander of Magra. Although Otten and his men are sworn to serve Gaius Tempest and follow his orders, it is no secret that his loyalty remains with the Archduke. While Gaius and the Archduke are at odds, there has been no open confrontation yet. I do fear their patience may one day run dry. As for the judges of the prefecture, every day we deal with more and more litigation between nobles and commoners, yet there are no imperial laws that clearly formalise the rights of all three estates. Wisdom, honour, and conscience are every judge's best advisor these days. You made the choice to serve the law, and you'll have your work cut out for you. You'll answer directly to Prefect Augustin Elborn, a long-standing friend of the family. He needs strong allies now more than ever. With the support of people such as you and I, the Prefect intends to alter the fate of our province. I look forward to seeing you back in Anazotti, Montgomery. You put the letter back in your pocket. The walls of Anazotti have finally emerged on the horizon. A challenging job at the prefecture awaits you, but you are going home. Okay. So, the most important event that will end this chapter, only one of them will happen. So, Commander Otten is sentenced. Otten faces the Court of Honour. Night of the Serpents, the supporters of Archduke Milonidas take over the city. The rebellious citizens take over control of Anazotti, or we face true death. Interesting. None of those look particularly good, but Commander Otten's clearly going to play a major role in this. The most important events that will happen to the House Brante at the end of this chapter. Ennobled by the sword. The Brante family becomes a hereditary dynasty of nobles. The status passed down from generation to generation. We need a bit more reputation. We need to not be branded by dishonour and the family in ruins. Brante family becomes a hereditary dynasty of the sword. In the favour of Overseer Gaius Tempest in place of the court. Heir of the family, you succeed your elder brother Stefan, or the family falls apart. The family is no more. Let's hope that doesn't happen. Events that can happen to the Brante family in this chapter: a family in means, we become known for our wealth. Mother recovers from grave illness. Robert adopts Gloria and she becomes a full-fledged Brante. Brante family is dragged through the dirt, never to recover, or the family at peace. You find a way to unite the family and end the strife at home. Financial well-being of the Brante family is decimated, or the Brante family earns great renown, becoming the newest eminent dynasty in Anazotti. Okay, we need more reputation for that. Deeds that you can accomplish on your chosen life path. People, protector of the people of Anazotti know and praise you as a defender of the common people's rights. You're in the favour of someone very powerful. You participate in an enigmatic ritual of a long-dead race. You ban the noble court of honour throughout Magra. You bring evidence to bring Doris Otten to trial. Interesting. Sections that open in this chapter are occupation. Let's have a quick look at that. Okay, so we can have a look at our career. Support of the authorities and the nobility on your path to the post of Prefect of Magra. So we're a judge currently, but we don't want to have our career in ruins. And the strength of the prefecture and power of law in the province determines the protection of commoners and tyranny of nobles. Currently is at 4, but can go up or down depending on how things go. Interesting. This is a long chapter, chapter 4, the longest I would think, so we'll be on this chapter for a while, I would imagine. The carriage stops. The familiar gate, your bedroom window, the same one you used to climb out of at night from time to time. The well-tended garden with its imported soil, delightful greenery, and mother's beloved violet irises. The porch you used to jump off when you were little. You are home. You touch the handle of the front door and halt for a moment. It's been 4 years since you left for a Turner, but it feels like yesterday. The air inside is cool, as usual. Father cannot stand a stuffy room and insists on constantly airing out the house. You hear hurried footsteps coming from the direction of your father's study. Before you have time to take off your travelling coat, you're crushed in Stefan's strong embrace. Your brother has grown taller and more broad shoulders. When he detaches himself from you, you notice how harsh his features have become. He looks even more like grandfather now. You've grown so much over the last 4 years, Montgomery. Just look at you. You left a lowborn boy, but you've come back, said Brante. I'm so glad you joined us in the noble estate. You respond by giving your brother a wrapped gift. Stefan unwraps it carefully. When he sees the sword, a boyish smile appears on his stern face. It's beautiful. What a beautiful gift, brother. Maybe I should start a collection. What do you think? There's no hurry, Stefan. Now let me have a look at the prefecture's new judge. Father approaches you, his hand extended. You shake it and wrap your arms around him. Father looks older. His back is hunched and he squints. There are deep lines around his mouth and silver threads in his dark hair and moustache. Taking a step back, Father examines you from head to toe. What fine posture. You had excellent teachers. I'm so proud you made it, son. Mother comes out of the living room, leaning on Nathan's arm. You immediately see signs of the illness you read about in the letters from home. Her back is bent, her hair is grey, a thin web of wrinkles covers her face, and her complexion has lost its colour. She can barely stand unassisted. Nathan leads Mother to you. Slowly, very delicately, she embraces you. You press your face into her shoulder, breathing the nearly forgotten, dearly beloved smell. Mother holds your shoulders and studies your face for a long time. You've been away so long, son. How you've grown. Just a short while ago I was cradling you in my arms. You look so much like your father when he was your age, Sir Montgomery Brante. Nathan approaches you next. Your youngest brother now is as tall as you are, and his hair almost reaches his shoulders, but he still has the same lost look in his eye that he had when he was a boy. And here's your ne'er-do-well little brother. He hasn't changed a bit or grown an inch after all this time. He couldn't get into seminary, so he just hangs around. Nathan lets out a heavy sigh and awkwardly puts his arms around you. Glad to see you back, Montgomery. Home hasn't been the same without you. You hear a snort behind you. Everyone turns. At the top of the stairs stands Gloria, her arms across her chest. She is dressed as a man, in culottes, a frock coat, and a necktie with a massive pin. The entire family waits for her to greet you. Stefan shakes his head disapprovingly. Your sister descends as if forcing herself to do so. A few steps away from you, Gloria stops and bows. Welcome to your home, Sir Brante. Your sister looks thinner and leaner than she used to. She has dark circles under her eyes, as though she's been sleeping too little or crying too much. Enough pleasantries, come on in. The table is set. Lydia has prepared a veritable feast for you. For the first time in years, the entire family is together. You can finally spend some time with another member of your family today, and I think that's going to have to be Gloria. Her mother's not well. She may not survive much longer anyway, even though there does seem a way for us to get her illness back. But I want to, if we go to family, not personality, House of Brante, family tree, here we go. Stefan likes us. Nathan doesn't like us that much. Gloria's still sympathetic, so we could speak to Nathan, I suppose. But Mother's still sympathetic, but Dad likes us a lot. I think we're going to speak to Gloria. We'll have to find another day to support Nathan. At the table, you try to ask Gloria about her life, but your sister dodges your questions. I live, I suffer, I help around the house, I know my place, just like a lowborn girl is supposed to. Then keep silent, Gloria. Your brother doesn't care about the affairs of commoners anymore. Instead, why don't you tell us if you've made any useful acquaintances, Montgomery? Our family would benefit from some good connections right now. You have to relate to the 4 years you spent in Eterna. Only later that night, when the family is getting ready for bed, do you manage to have a conversation with your sister by the smouldering fireplace. You assure Gloria that your noble title will not come between you. She is still your sister. Gloria casts a wary glance at you. So your sword and title haven't changed you after all. Giving in to her feelings at last, Gloria buries her face in your shoulder. You caress your sister's dishevelled locks. I really hope you'll always be my brother, Montgomery. Mother, Nathan and I, we all seem to be unwanted in this house. Sir Robert spends all his time at work, so Stefan has been running the household. It's taken a heavy toll on Mother. I can see her losing her will to live. You know, at her age, she might pass away forever and not be reborn. She had to endure a lot before she met Sir Robert, and her illness is consuming her. All Stefan cares about is getting the family noble by the sword. He'd sacrifice anyone for it. I'm worried the first thing he's going to do is drive me out of the house, so I won't take the Brante family name with my origins. I'm just an obstacle to him, a hindrance. You know, Montgomery, I'm not sure how much longer I can tolerate this injustice. Times are changing. If I'm lowborn, that doesn't mean I'm going to serve the nobles until my true death. All over the Empire, commoners are fighting for their rights. Gloria suddenly cuts herself short. For a long time, you sit in silence, listening to the crackling fireplace. The Brante family is about to face some challenging times. So, Stefan's relations go down, Gloria's go up. Nothing else changes with Nathan or our mother. And we enter our first day of service. Your service as a judge begins today. You get dressed early in the morning, donning a brand new jacket with a cravat and hat. It's an immaculate look if you dare say so yourself. You head to the prefecture with Father. The prefecture moved recently. It now occupies a massive new building of white sandstone in the very centre of Anazotti. A stone statue looms above it, the sword of the younger twin, a divine law that directs worldly judgment. All legal disputes in the province are to be resolved here. You and Father walk up the marble stairs past the commoners, merchants and lesser nobles, all petitioners and litigants huddled by the pillars. Well now, my son, here you shall begin your service to the Empire, in the midst of the great struggle I told you about. If you don't mind a little advice, you will serve under Sir Elborn. Follow my example, stay close to your superior. He is a human of great worth, and practically your relative. You will pass the courtroom and up to the second floor, where judges work in their offices and receive petitioners. The corridors are many and narrow, filled with the smell of old papers and the sound of muffled, mumbling voices and secretaries and gendarmes running to and fro. Father guides you down a corridor that ends with a door to Sir Elborn's office. Montgomery, it is time for you to stand before the prefect to remember the friendship between our families. You knock and enter. The spacious oak-panelled office is not without decoration, yet its adornments are tasteful and elegant rather than garnish. The flag of Magra, bearing the silver tree, hangs on the wall. Behind an imposing desk sits Baron Augustin Elborn, surrounded by papers. His face wears a focused expression you recall from his visits in the past, although it is more wrinkled than you remember. He looks up and his face comes to life. He rises and extends a hand to you. Why, your Montgomery Brante, what a pleasure it is to see you again. I see your years at the capital have turned you into a stately young man. I was told you proved yourself quite capable at the college. The city of Anazotti needs worthy judges who know their craft more more than ever. Allow me to welcome you into service for the good of the Empire. I'm sure you do know the basics of judicial work. Serving at the prefecture, however, takes more than finding your way through our laws. Although they are quite labyrinthine and contradictory, there's no denying that. Anywhere you look in our province, you'll see friction between the estates, old noble blood, new nobles, rich commoners, poor commoners, they all have their legal disputes. And we judges work here to make sure this pot never boils over. If you are too eager to follow the traditions of the old and bow to noble privilege, the common estate will grow desperate and lose all hope of freedom. But if we openly side with the commoners, the noble's eye will be quick to find us. And so Judge Brante asks you to be wary and wise. Peace hangs by a thread in this province. Carefully consider every decision you make at court before rendering your verdict. But first, you need to get accustomed to your new position. You should begin at once. The Prefecture has already assigned you a number of legal proceedings to review and judge. Your office is ready and waiting for you, Sir Brante. The instructions are over and the work begins. You recognise your new office by the brass plate on the door reading Sir Montgomery Brante, Judge. You find it rather cramped on the inside, yet still reasonably comfortable. The sturdy desk has all the stationery you need. Behind the desk is a large chair of carved wood, and the front of it are several smaller chairs for petitioners. Heavy curtains hang over the window, where the opponents of the morning light trying to shine through. There are papers on the desk already, including instructions, orders, rulings, and all other sorts of prefecture paperwork. You're about to begin when you hear a sudden knock at the door. The source of the disturbance turns out to be a stout, smartly dressed nobleman. He greets you with an elegant bow. Bow, even. Probably not bow. You would have not expected from such a sizable individual. This is Carlo Fockgraben. That's an interesting name. Sir Brante, congratulations on your first day of service. Allow me to introduce myself, Judge Carlo Fockgraben, a humble servant of the law like yourself. It is my hope that we will become fast friends. And now, if I may, a word of warning to help your work progress smoothly, as a token of our future friendship. I am aware that Sir Earlborn is your immediate superior. As a loyal servant of the Empire, you will of course take his word as your guide. Yet there is no reason to neglect all other judges of the Prefecture, all of whom are noble men of great worth. Their guidance will most certainly aid you as a judge. It will be my pleasure, Sir Brante, to facilitate your introduction to the noble judges of the Prefecture as soon as possible. I see glory in your future service to the Empire, yet it certainly cannot hurt to receive reassurance and support when you need it most. I shan't detain you any longer, but if you wish to make some valuable connections, my office is right across from your own. Another elegant bow from Judge Fockgraben, and the door closes. You are alone at your desk. Once again, the scorching sun is rising above the province behind the window. Today is an important day, the day when you are to take your first steps in your new profession. What will you focus on today? So we can prepare for our judicial cases, we can get acquainted with the other judges, or we can go and see Father. I don't think we need to see Father at the moment, although we do have the conditions met for it. I'm going to go get acquainted with the other judges. Even if Carlo tries to influence me, I think it would be useful to meet other judges and just see and try and make new friends, really, if anything. Sir Fockgraben's office seems rather reasonable now you think about it. You dedicate some time to the cases and necessary paperwork, then shift the case folders aside and walk to the office across from yours. Judge Fockgraben greets you warmly. Sir Brante, how splendid of you to stop by. Come, let us pay a few visits to the most distinguished of your new colleagues. I'm sure they'll be delighted to make the acquaintance of such a promising young man. With that, Fockgraben leads you through the corridors of the Prefecture. As you walk down the hall, he starts mentioning other judges by name and origin, age and experience, power and influence. You stop by a number of other judges' offices. Hours pass in dignified greetings, bowing, pats on the shoulders and courteous conversation. One after another, the judges make it quite clear to you that when a noble and a commoner clash in the courtroom, the court is to side with the noble every time, no matter how affluent the commoner may be. Only when both parties hail from the common estate may a judge fully rely upon the rule of law. Before you know it, your first day at the Prefecture is over. Just look at how much you've accomplished in one day, Brante. So many experienced judges, and you made a splendid impression on all of them. Your future is all but assured now, I guarantee it. But remember, courteous words are not the only thing that matters at the Prefecture. Your decisions will not go unnoticed. Montgomery, my friend, I greatly hope your youthful exuberance will not result in any gaffes that may hinder our mutual efforts at maintaining order in our province. Act with wisdom in mind, especially when the wisdom of your colleagues is always within reach. Yeah, I expect as much. You say farewell to the eloquent, affable judge and walk to the carriage outside, waiting to take you home. With so many useful acquaintances made at the Prefecture today, your career will surely prosper. However, there is the burden of expectation upon you. They want you to fall in line and side with noble privilege without a second thought. However, the conflict between the noble and common estates is growing tenser by the day. It will only become harder to uphold the law in the future. Yeah, so I've gained a point with being a judge, so I'm viewed on more favourably, but I'm going to be expected to side with the nobles, and that's going to only put down justice even further. So we need to ensure there's no lawlessness, we need to ensure that we fight for the commoners next, especially as the end of justice is downfall to the prefecture, which presumably would mean downfall for not only me, but my father and family as well. Something to bear in mind. You have started your service at the prefecture of Magra. We'll have to see what this involves. Okay, we have a reception at the Brante residence. Interesting. Who's that reception going to be for, I wonder? However, we will see that next time. In the meantime, thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.